Vince, talk about the damage, because we have to be honest, Black America is not doing well today. Talk about the damage of the welfare state and how MLK's narrative and political activism led to the modern welfare state.
Yeah, David Garrow, again, he wrote about this in his book. Patrick Moynihan wrote this great study called the Moynihan Report. It was legendary. Patrick Moynihan proved that welfare was destroying the Black family. He saw that Black men were working, but the family was being more destroyed and more people were getting on welfare. And he said what's happening is these young girls that are getting pregnant aren't getting married anymore. So he told LBJ, we got to cut this out or the Black family is going to be destroyed. So he said, what we need to do is take the federal government and put the Black man back in charge of his family. LBJ was all for it. But LBJ, being the politician, said, you got to go and sell this to the civil rights community. So McGeorge Bundy was over the Ford Foundation at that time. He told Moynihan that we are sponsoring a retreat for the civil rights community. Come with me down there and present your findings to them. McGeorge Bundy, Moynihan went down there, met with Martin Luther King Jr. and the members of the civil rights community. According to David Garrow, McGeorge Bundy said it's a wonder Moynihan got out of that room alive. They called him everything but a child of God, cussed him out, called him a racist. Moynihan goes back to LBJ and said, man, these people are crazy. We can't have nothing to do with them. LBJ said we got to do what they said do. They came back and met with LBJ, and the feminists in the movement said, instead of taking the federal government to put the man back in charge of his family, we need to use it to get the man out because marriage is just like slavery. And instead of putting and fixing the welfare state where women could get welfare if they got married, they changed it to where if they caught a man in the house, she could get no help. And in one generation, the Black community went from having 80% of their children in wedlock to 80% being born out of wedlock. And they put the man in-house clause in welfare, and it destroyed the Black family. And Martin Luther King Jr.'s fingerprints were all on it. And Ralph Abernathy wrote, in The Walls Came Tumbling Down, he said that in the late 70s, he went to the Black people in the civil rights in Congress and showed them how welfare was destroying the Black community, how it was keeping 3 generations of Black people in poverty. And Ralph Abernathy wrote this in his book. He said, and something curious happened. It pleased them to have 2 and 3 generations of Black people locked in poverty because that's how they could control them. Ralph said that they were pushing segregation because this is how they could keep all Black people in the inner city and could keep their positions of power in government. And that's when Ralph Abernathy said that he supported Ronald Reagan for president in 1980. So it's always been part of their job to keep Black people poor, ignorant, under their control, and voting for the Democrat Party. In my first book, The Iron Triangle, I said that the Black preacher, the Black politician, and the Black civil rights worker are conduits between rich white liberals and the Democrat Party, and their job is to do one thing, make sure that the Black community votes for the Democratic Party by hook or by crook. And they've been doing it well for the last 40, 50 years. But there's a change coming now, Charlie. You've seen the polls. About 61% of Black people now support Joe Biden. And there's a panic in the Democrat Party. And that 61%, it dropped from 90% in 2020 to about 61% now. And that's happening because of people like you, Candace Owens, me, Officer Brandon Tatum, us going out there every day and grinding and grinding
Amen.
and grinding. It ain't the GOP. You
well,
know that.
And so Vince, I have to just say, so when I said that we were going to do this MLK segment, I'd say the number one piece of critical feedback I received, and that's fine, is Charlie, you're going to turn off Black voters if you dare tell the truth about MLK. How should I respond to that, Vince?
Black people will love you for it because the truth is the truth. Who can hide from it? You're telling the truth. They're going to research everything we said today, Charlie, and they're going to say, I will be damned. It's correct. It's right. Check it out. It's the truth. Black people aren't any better. What are you celebrating? The fact that Black families,
I'm sorry. I think it's so incredibly bigoted and racist that you, like, when someone says, oh, you know, you're going to upset the balance of Blacks coming our way if you dare tell the truth. No, what kind of silly, strange, bizarre, bigoted argument? In fact, I think it's the opposite, Vince. What I've learned over the last couple of years is pursuing the tough topics actually builds our movement. It strengthens our movement because the truth will set you free.
Charlie, they're afraid of the truth. They're liars. You know, I've been saying since you know me that the Democratic Party is controlled by a cabal of perverts, liars, psychopaths, and anti-Christian bigots. They lie. How do you know a Democrat is lying? His lips are moving. That's how they keep us under control. They lie. They want to tell black people that white conservative Christians are their enemy. No, the white liberal is your enemy. The white conservative Christian will do nothing to hurt or harm you. It is that white liberal, like Malcolm X says, that is the enemy of all mankind. They are atheists, they're Marxists, they're full of hate and envy, and they use people for power. And they get some type of weird charge out of seeing pain. They have to kill people, they have to harm people. The greatest trick the devil ever played on mankind was to convince us that he no longer exists. The devil exists and he rests his head at the DNC. That's where he lays his head. That's where he puts all of his clothes. He lives there. And these are the evilest people ever walked the face of this earth. And they use MLK and all of those perverts with him. There's a chapter in my book, 25 Lies. One of the lies is that the civil rights leaders were moral people. They were not. James Bevel, the guy that was in control of all of the marching and all of the organizing. James Bevel went to jail for raping his daughters. You saw what Jesse Jackson did after a king got assassinated. He slipped away, got a T-shirt, put fake blood on it, went on every TV show the next day and said he held Martin Luther King Jr. while he died, saying, "Dr. King, can you hear me? Dr. King, can you hear me?" And that Dr. King told him to take over the civil rights movement. Yeah, that's what Jesse Jackson did. This is, and Ralph Abernathy wrote about it, and the walls came tumbling down. He wrote about what Jesse Jackson did and told how they felt about it. Yeah, when you start talking about Bayard Rustin, went to jail for having sex with two men in a parked car. He was a communist. You can go on down the line, and you'll find that all of these guys, something was wrong with them. They would have orgies with 20 men and 20 women in a hotel room. They get drunk. David Guerrero wrote about this situation where Dr. King and Clara Ward, the black gospel singer, bought this white prostitute named Gail, took up to a hotel room. Dr. King called one of his pastor friends, "Hey man, I got this white girl, come on, let's have some fun." And Gail told the FBI about how they ran trains on her all night long, how they were drunk, and it was the worst orgy she'd ever been in. This man is supposed to be saving prostitutes. This man is supposed to be healing them and freeing their souls. This man is supposed to be baptizing every communist, every socialist, every atheist that came around Martin Luther King Jr. was supposed to have been changed. Instead, he was engaging in the foul behavior. And now look at the black community. At the bottom of every socioeconomic statistic in the world. Why? Because we followed a bunch of liars, hypocrites, and psychopaths. And you will not be blessed doing such a thing. A tree is known by the fruit it bears. Look at our fruit. If the fruit is rotten, the tree is rotten. And the tree is Martin Luther King Jr. and the civil rights community. All right, friends, Vince Everett Ellison is here. I want you to go to my website, and on my website, you're gonna see a lot of great stuff, man. You're gonna see that we got t-shirts, we got caps, you got my books, my documentaries, you got all kinds of stuff on VinceSpeaksTruth.com. Go there. We're dropping new t-shirts, we're dropping new merchandise. My new book, The End of Tolerance, is there. The End of Tolerance. Make sure you get it, make it #1. If you got my first 3, get The End of Tolerance. It's just as good, and it's telling us we have to end our tolerance with these leftists, these Democrats. We can no longer allow them to sexually groom our children. We can no longer allow them to castrate little boys and call them little girls, run God out of the public square, take away our guns, take away our sovereignty. No longer allow it. So go on VinceSpeaksTruth.com. That is VinceSpeaksTruth.com. Hit merchandise. You'll see the t-shirts. You'll see the caps. You'll see the books. You'll see the documentaries. You'll see it all. And let's keep this ball rolling. God bless you.